Yeah. I mean, I've just been, late night thoughts, I'm just trying, thinking about different situations that can go wrong in a bar. And I just wonder, I'm going to take a pause here in a second because I think this is going to take me like 50 seconds. Yeah, I would say one thing to watch out for in a bar, in particular, would be like if a dispute ever occurred between like a male, a man and his wife, at your own bar, as opposed to a situation where like two men aren't getting along, right? If that's ever happening, like as a bartender, dealing with like people fighting or whatever, you want to stay out of it, right? And like hopefully the door guy can react, and that whole situation is really bad, right? And you don't ever want that happening, you know. And but like my goodness, man, you know. I can see stopping somebody from getting hurt. If if your customer gets attacked, and you know the situation or whatever, somebody's hurting them, I can see you like trying to stop them from getting hurt, and maybe even involving yourself in that, just reacting to it. But like, if the same thing ever happened, between a man and his wife, okay, for some reason, at your own bar where they're not getting along, and there's a reaction, even a physical altercation could happen, perhaps. I've actually seen that in public before. And, I would actually just, instead of anything like that, dude, I would just immediately call the cops. As opposed to, I would, as opposed to even really, considering to even like step in to defend the woman, right? As horrible as that might sound, to get in between, a man or even like hurting a woman in public, I would even say, like, as a bartender, to completely, just remove yourself from that situation. Absolutely. Because, that is just absolutely one thing that can get you killed, dude. I think, to wrap yourself up in a situation between, like, to something like that. I know this may be, less common and infrequent, but it does happen. I would immediately call the cops, and I wouldn't even, I would pray for, honestly, the woman, but like, and make the wise, mature decision, hopefully that somebody else, helps her. But as a bartender, like, my goodness, to have a personal relationship with the man at the bar, to get in between his own, oh my gosh, dude, I just can only see, that being like such a bad thing to do, you know. To even like go in between, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. You could get yourself killed.